So we're here at NEMMEC here at Mecca Warehouse, which is awesome, and we got Nickel, one of our head judges for the event. So welcome to
Thanks,
Mecca
man.
Warehouse.
It's exciting to finally be here in the store. I took the trip up from Virginia. I'm always doing stuff outside of Mecca Warehouse, so it's really, really cool to finally be in-house.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you. Thank you for making
Absolutely.
the trip and taking the time and all the prep work. I feel like, I haven't been involved in running another one of these events, but I feel like we put a lot of time and effort, and the amount of time that you and George put in those long Zoom calls.
It was a lot of fun.
Let's figure it all out and make sure we have a plan for this, and not just like show up day of and be like, let's just judge some models,
something.
you know?
I'm honestly gonna miss all that a little bit. It's been a lot of fun the last couple months.
What to do? I'm looking for it. I think we haven't decided yet. Maybe by the end of the day I'll have decided, but we haven't decided if we're doing a second one yet.
Okay.
But I think we should.
We have a pretty good turnout so far.
Yeah, there's a good turnout in this. I think if we had a year to prep for it, it would just be that much better and bigger and more awesome. So, cool. So, one of the things that I want to ask people about today in the interviews that we do today is about people's first models, right? This is our first competition.
Okay.
We're trying to bring people in and build up new models, build the community, build new modelers and stuff like that. So do you remember what your first kit was?
My very first kit that I ever built, I was like 8 or 9, and my grandmother found one of those really, really old no-grade, like Wing Zeros at a Toys R Us or something, and she was like, I thought you would like this, because I was watching Wing at the time.
Right.
And I tore through it, and I wanted another one immediately. And I'm 32 now, and I'm still building them. And she fusses at me all the time to stop building these things. And I'm like, this is your fault. You did this. And I love it. I mean, it's just so much fun. And I still have that model in a box somewhere. I used it for a project in college. So it's still dear to me. I have it.
Nice. What was your first, model that you entered in a competition?
The first one I ever entered in a competition was, so I got back into modeling when I was like 23 or so. Build Fighters was on, so I bought one of the Fenices. I was like, I haven't built these in years, and that blew me away how much the engineering had changed. And so I did a couple things, and I built a Sengoku Ashtray 1144 from that same series, and that was the first kit I ever airbrushed.
Okay.
So I did like a candy coat with I did the candy coat red frame and the white finish and all that stuff, and I put that in a contest at Hobbytown. Didn't place, I was the only Gundam there. But that kind of was like, oh, this is exciting, it's cool to represent my community. Cool. I want to keep doing that.
That's
10 years later, here I am.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so one of the things, I'm hypothesizing here, I'm theorizing that everybody has that thing, perhaps in their first model, probably every model you do, that you're like, oh, I could have done that better, or there's that thing. So, but first models is probably the place where that stuff really happens, right? That thing that knocked you for judging, or you got there and you're like, I know this isn't going to do as well as I want to because of, do you remember what that thing was that became like your hill to die on going forward?
So,
I'm never going to make this mistake again.
Yeah, so the first IPMS event I went to, the first Old Dominion Open I went to, I had some airbrushed models because I was further in at that point. I was doing more pre-shading and shading techniques. And I was using black as an underpainting, and I was doing really blobby paint. Pre-shading, as a lot of people tend to do when they start. And one of the judges was like, hey, don't use black. It's muddying your colors, and you're spraying too heavy. Work on filtering that down. And I did, and I've been so much happier with everything I've painted since then. It was some of the best advice I've gotten as a painter, and I think about that all the time when I not only judge people's work and look at people's work, but think about my own painting. Right. And my painting techniques have changed so much since then. I'm just really glad that person gave me that advice.
Yeah, cool, very cool. And then I guess to end on a note related to the competition itself, what are you most looking forward to seeing on the table, or what are you excited to be with judging this event?
I'm always excited to see the weird things people do with Gunpla. People always joke that Gunpla is freedom, but I kind of do believe that, because you can do whatever you want with this particular medium. You do tanks and planes and stuff, and it's really limited to the mud from France in 1942. Not to diss that at all, but Gunpla, you can kind of do whatever you want, and seeing the weird things people do with paint and with dioramas and with customization. There's a RX over there that somebody inverted and made the crotch the mouth, and it's just really weird. But I like that kind of stuff, because I don't ever think to build like that.
Right.
So it's really cool to see when people flip the script.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Well, again, thank you for coming.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for inviting.
Yeah,
man.